Hi, I'm Willie from the Zombie Star, and let's see what we've been reading this week in comics. Spider-Man Unforgiven Marvel Comics, issue number 1, only a one-shot. Sometimes when I am organizing my comic books or trying to organize my comic books into their boxes, I find issues that I've had for a really long time and I've just never read. Picked this up this week and thought it was awesome. Spider-Man Unforgiven probably blends two of my favorite things, a classic hero like Spider-Man with horror. Our favorite webhead is minding his own business, being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, when suddenly he crosses paths with a very determined cult of vampires. Quickly, Spider-Man learns that this group of vampires, each with their catchy names like Night Eyes and Ghostblade, all have significant abilities and in fact are allies against a much darker, more powerful, nefarious force. Spider-Man, trying to use all of his old tricks, quickly discovers that he's out of his league here and has to come to rely on his new friends to stop this force from spreading out into the city, but also from controlling his own mind. Unforgiven really took me by surprise as a narrative, as it's not just a Spider-Man versus vampires kind of cool story, but also has a focus on Peter Parker as a person, as he's forced to face many of his fears, including the way he handles the death of Uncle Ben and the many dangers that he brings about his loved ones, being the famed Spider-Man that we all know and love. Seeley, Cotian, and Delgado did a really good job of blending some kind of horror elements that you would typically see maybe more like of a creep show style of comic book, while still maintaining that Marvel superhero look that you would expect from a Spider-Man comic book. Unforgiven will continue as its own line, as this one-shot does end with a bit of a cliffhanger and introduces a very well-known other group of superheroes. But Unforgiven issue 1, or one-shot, does include a full story that includes Spider-Man, and for that reason I probably will not be following Unforgiven 1, that this has been running probably for some time, and I really have to hunt down some issues if I wanted to get kind of the whole story that includes the group of vampires that are introduced in this one-shot. But this is issue number 1, one-shot, Spider-Man Unforgiven. This was really cool. Issue number 25 of Radiant Black, or part 1 of the Catalyst War. Radiant Black follows two main characters, Marshall and Nathan, lifelong friends that have been sharing the power of the Radiant, a cosmic force that grants its users immense powers and abilities. Along with others who have been granted the powers of the Radiant, Radiant Black has branched off into a larger universe that sees a group of Power Ranger-like characters wield the powers of the universe, but also face off against its many threats. In issue 25 of Radiant Black, we see that Nathan and Marshall need to make a choice, really putting their friendship, their loyalty, and their character to the test in regards to the powers that they have been wielding. Answering to higher forms that regulate the Radiance, Nathan and Marshall are forced to decide who is dominantly going to control the Radiant and become officially Radiant Black. While Nathan and Marshall struggle with this decision, the team as a whole is also preparing for a greater looming event that threatens all existence as we know it. Along with its narrative, characters, and just overall story, the scope of Radiant Black is what has been really exciting about this, as in a really short amount of time, I feel, the title has exploded into a really big universe. So big that, along with Radiant Black and Radiant Red, I am still missing out on other titles such as the Lucky Dead, No One, and even Radiant Pink. In what is now called the Massive Verse, Radiant Black from Image Comics is just one title of several that make up this grand narrative. Radiant Black, along with its branch-off issues, has maintained a very pleasing and fitting artistic approach for the title. Its deliberate use of colors and high energy and vibrant illustrations complements its cosmically charged characters very well as the events and the very fast pacing of this narrative. This is Radiant Black, issue number 25. For the core story, we're up to 25, but as I mentioned, this is branched off into so many other titles. Radiant Black, being where I started with the Massiverse, is definitely my favorite, but is also kicking off the Catalyst War, which more likely moving forward I'm going to have to hunt down all the other titles, being that it might branch off into the other titles in the Massiverse. But this is the only cover that we did get. It is absolutely gorgeous. Radiant Black from the Massiverse, Image Comics. This is really cool. And this week we did catch up with Time Before Time with several issues. Issues number 23, 24, 25, 26, and we have stopped at issue number 27. I understand that this is still going. This book is amazing. Written by McConville and Shelby. Shelby being the writer from Marvel Comics for the current, or at least the last closing arc for the Alien comics from Marvel. It's just one of the reasons why I think Time Before Time is one of the best still running titles from Image Comics. For 27 issues, we've been following the main characters Tatsuo and Nadia, two time traveling fugitives that have been on the run for their lives. Using their immense wealth, technology, and just outright brutality to control time periods like any gangs would control territories. And in 27 issues, have really enjoyed seeing how this story has grown as a narrative, and how its characters and even new characters have developed. It's been really fun to see how main characters Tatsuo and Nadia have branched off into their own personal narratives, where we see Tatsuo, a former member of the Syndicate, looking for a new life, but now is on a trek for redemption. And Nadia, a by-the-book member of law enforcement who is now being consumed by her reckless pursuit of revenge. And then there's Kevin, the artificial sentient intelligence that is trying to navigate and figure out the complex concepts of things like loyalty and even friendship. Along with characters like Ruddock, the brutal yet relatable time-traveling bounty hunter, Helgi, the charismatic yet psychotic ringleader of the Syndicate, and characters like Merv, the low-level yet ambitious member of the Syndicate, which makes Time Before Time a very heavily character-driven narrative that also utilizes time travel in one of the most intelligent ways that I think I've seen in any form of entertainment. I don't use the word masterpiece loosely, but if you've read it, you let me know. And for 27 issues, Time Before Time has gone through a few artists, but has maintained a very stylized look to this, which I think is just another reason that makes this a really good read. Time Before Time, issue number 27, my favorite cover of the 5 issues that we read this week. This is just really awesome. And that is all that we have for this week in comics. Let me know what you guys are reading. Let me know if you guys are reading any of these, and let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all next time.